Big Z Reviews. Color Out of Space is a new psychological horror film based on the short story from H.P. Lovecraft, and I really enjoyed it.
How can something that big just disappear? Did you plant those?
No.
Ward, you come here for a sec.
Oh, God.
What are you doing?
Shh. He's talking to me.
Who's talking to you?
A man in the well.
So this film was directed by Richard Stanley, and I think the one what it most reminds me of is last year's Annihilation, where it's like this gorgeous weirdness going on, and there's a lot of body horror, and there's a lot of like otherworldliness, and a lot of like descent into madness, and not really knowing what's going on. And I mean, this really delivers on everything you'd want from a movie like this. And I know, like, this is kind of like the second movie that, like, Mandy was pretty cool, too, from Nicolas Cage last year. And now this one, like, he does a lot of crap, but, I mean, his horror cred is getting pretty good. Like, I mean, he's in these smaller budget horror films that are, some of them are really good, and I really thoroughly enjoyed this. So the setup for this is that there's this family, and I really like to, so many times, like, horror movies, when they have to set everything up, it's just so, the writing is so bad for so many horror movies, when they have to tell everyone in like the first 5 minutes exactly who these characters are. But I really liked how this film presented this family. But essentially, like, they don't, like, they're more showing, not telling. Like, I mean, there's a little bit of that, but a lot of it is just, you kind of get from their interactions, you understand who this family is pretty quick. And it's very well crafted. But you have this family, the father is Nicolas Cage, and mother is Jolie Richardson. And they have 3 kids, Madeline Arthur as Lavinia, Brendan Meyer as Benny, and Julian Hilliard as the youngest Jack. And this says that there's they've been living, it's Nicolas Cage's father's farm, and they've been living on like for a year or two, and they moved from a big city, and the mother had breast cancer, but she's also like, she's really smart, she's like a day trader, but she's doing like in the attic, and like you know, the daughter, she is like a bit of a witch, and the son is like enjoys weed, and then the youngest is the youngest, you know. But like they set up very quick, and even like you give this other guy that I think that probably in the story, and probably in with voice, kind of like the viewpoint character is Elliot Knight as Ward, and he's and then like an inspector or whatever coming in to examine the water table. They're doing a big project to supply an aquifer for water for a large area, but they have to do all the testing around there. And so when stuff starts happening, he's going to be the one that notices first that maybe something is wrong. There's also Tommy Chong, this weird guy that also lives on the corner of a small in the forest next to the farm. But there's like so much about this is really cool. But like, you know, they have after they have the setup, and like you get a little bit of time with the family, and you like them. You know, they're different. You know, I mean, some of the acting and writing isn't perfect, but it's pretty damn good, especially for a horror film. And then like there's some weird stuff starts happening, and this asteroid crashes into their farm, this big hole, and it's like glowing like this weird pink color, like it's unnatural color. And like there's some funny stuff too, but like they call the mayor, and the mayor called the news, and like there's some funny stuff with Nicolas Cage. But then the meteorite disappears, and weird stuff starts happening. Like these weird pink flowers start sprouting everywhere, and these weird pink bugs, and this weirdness throughout the farm keeps building and building. And like some of the people start losing time, or they start harming themselves, and other animals start changing, and things start changing, and it's like, it's creepy. Also, it's a little scary, but more there's some crazy body horror, like with them injuring themselves, and it goes stretches where you wouldn't expect it. With like you think that like some people in the family may be safe because generally directors don't like to do stuff with children, and this director didn't give a shit because like some of the worst things happen when you don't expect, like something like when at a certain point in the movie when some crazy shit happens, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was literally like, what? Like, it was like crazy, and the special effects are good. I mean, some of the CGI isn't great, but a lot of it is like practical, and reminds me of little of like The Thing, the original, well, the first remake. But there's so much about it. I love that Lovecraftian horror, and it's maybe probably the best adaptation of Lovecraft's work ever. Nicolas Cage does do some Nicolas Cagey things at certain points in the movie, but it's not over the top. Like, it's not too crazy, but then it really works for what's happening, and it's really cool. And I think the only thing I didn't love about this film is that, I won't spoil it, but there is an epilogue after the ending, kinda. And the epilogue, it feels like it's like directly from the book, or from the short story. Like, the way the one character is like reminiscing or talking about what happened, it reads like it's like quoting the short story, and I feel like it didn't need it. I feel like it would have been better if the story had just ended instead of having any sort of epilogue. But I mean that's really every reason for doing it like that. But as a whole, I really loved the film. I probably give like a 9 out of 10, 9.25 out of 10. It was an excellent movie, and it's streaming, I think, on VOD and then limited theaters. It's too bad. I would have loved to see it on the big screen, but instead they have all these really shitty January horror films, but they didn't put this out. Well, what you gonna do? Thanks for watching. You should either play it through my head and subscribe to that Z over there. Thanks. This has been a Big Z movie review. Thanks for watching.